And haha, we are live. Hello, everyone. We'll talk to you
Hello.
a bit about what's different today, but hold on. No, that's not what I
Looks a
wanted.
bit different, doesn't it now?
All right. Since I'm out of town and we were supposed to have a podcast, I figured we'd do it this way. So, if audio quality or video quality is not great, we're gonna re-upload with the. I need to start this screen record with Google as well.
You got real quiet.
I gotta start the screen record with Google as well, wherever that is. Manage recording. Start recording. Start. Alright. Now we're recording here and there. So, welcome to the podcast. I am David, and this is.
Jeff.
I don't have that little fun thing to pop up here today, but this is Jeff and Jeff podcast, where we talk about whatever we feel like on a bi weekly basis, and I clip shorts to post on socials. So, follow us, like and subscribe, share our stuff out. Today we're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Where's my thing here? Maduro, if you didn't realize by now, he was captured by the U.S. Um, HUD and illegals, VA and their voter rules, the new food pyramid, and much much more.
The best food pyramid I saw. It
Yeah,
just had tacos everywhere.
tacos everywhere. That's a good one. What's funny about the food pyramid, and we'll get there, is South Park. So,
Yes.
all right, first story, Maduro. So, there's been lots of stuff on this. Um, But apparently we used sonic weapons to help capture them. At least that's what is said. Whether it is 100% true or not, that's to be determined.
Yep. Whether or not we did or not, that's what they're claiming. But even if we didn't, you think about it. They took, I think it was 200 Cuban guards out,
Yep.
and in about, I don't know, just a few minutes, and just uh,
Oh man.
perfectly.
In relation to our prior military excursions the U.S. has had, this makes
Correct.
me proud to be American.
It's yeah. It's terrifying in one hand and awesome in the next.
The best thing I heard about was is it took us less time to capture Maduro and bring him back to the U.S. than it did for Stranger Things finale episode, or the gay part of the season. So so
Yeah,
why
it's
why does this matter? I guess the question is why does it matter? I mean, other than us being awesome.
it it matters, I think, because we have we have a hemisphere that we're trying to protect, and to try to protect our interests in the hemisphere, so we don't get encroached upon.
Yes.
And so, and the thing before this happened that I didn't understand is Maduro had been convicted in New York court in
Yes.
absentee. He wasn't there, but he was convicted of felonies in New York court. And so it's an interesting legal knot that they're going to have to work their way through. And so it will be interesting, and you're getting back all of the you're getting control of the oil again. You're getting control of the precious metals coming out of there, and then all of those things. And so it's going to be interesting to see where it goes.
Yes. What's interesting is the drugs was one of the reasons. That was the main reason he was convicted of drug trafficking, right? I believe that was his conviction.
That was what he was convicted of. Yeah,
But unlike other presidents, Trump made it quite clear that oil was also a main reason to jump in there and
well,
get it back.
yeah. I mean, before they took Maduro, they took what, 3 tankers?
Yes, I think they
I
got
think
two, and then they were in the
was it
process of a third.
okay. Yeah. So they and that right there, just the oil price. He's going to take those tankers of oil, he said, and fill up the strategic reserve, which Biden tried to help win the election by dumping
Dropping,
the
yeah,
oil in the strategic reserve. So it'll be interesting. I think it's shocking also to pretty much every other dictator slash corrupt government. Not saying ours is corrupt, but in South America, that is just like, oh wow, they went in a heavily armed specialist group
yes,
and they took out 200 of Cuba's best military guards and then took and got out of the country before anybody knew what happened.
oh
I
yeah,
mean, in and out. And that should be pretty terrifying, especially to our immediately south, to the cartel run Mexico. And it should be pretty terrifying to them.
it is. Yeah, it should be. And the other thing it points out is I think China spent like $8 billion in Venezuela to make them a partner and give them all these defense capabilities and everything, and we turned it all off, landed our helicopters, and captured the president. If you aren't aware, his house and residence is inside a military base. So it's not like we went to a normal residential area. No, we landed in a military base, walked in, grabbed him, and left.
Well, we walked in with some lettucillin going in a lot of directions, but yes, there was some lettucillin definitely being sprayed.
Yes. There's an interview, and I couldn't find it for this, but if I do, I'll include it in our links, of a supposed guy who was there, of a Venezuelan guard, one of Maduro's guard, and he explains the scenario. So whether it's true or not, what it does is it's great propaganda for the U.S. military of our Delta Force is scary, and you should be frightened terribly if they show up.
Well, the problem is you won't know that they are showing up until you wake up and you look up and there's a barrel pointed right at your head,
Yes,
and then
correct.
you're like, oh, too late.
So apparently Marco Rubio was one of the integral guys in. Is this the right one? No, that's General Flynn. He's good too. But we're gonna present something else here in this. This one. No, this one. This one. Here we go. Sorry, I got him out over there. Was integral in setting the whole thing up. He's also now the president of Venezuela. Not really. I'm teasing about that, but he is. Him and his team are running the country essentially.
Yep. And the funniest meme I've seen about that is that they have him sitting in that one chair and they keep changing in what he's doing in that one chair and his clothes and everything else. And they have him in a military garb of Venezuela. And they said what he looks like when he's having to run Venezuela now, too.
Yeah. He's the hardest working man in government. He has like 5 different high level jobs.
Yeah. Anyhow. And once again, he is shocked and surprised me. I am absolutely impressed with the job he's been doing. I didn't expect it, but I'm pleasantly surprised with his job.
Yep,
He's probably the best Secretary of State I think we've ever had, at least in modern history.
I agree. Yes, he's doing quite well. Quite well. Very, very good. Um, so before we hop to let me see here, what Michael Flynn was saying about it. What do you think the Venezuelans thought about it? And yes, we're a little late on this because we do our podcast every 2 weeks. And this literally happened after we did our podcast last time. But you know what? A good barometer of whether or not we did the right thing is the citizens of that country and the people who came to our country from that country, their thoughts. And what are their thoughts?
From what we're allowed to see, how about that, on X, which is fairly open, actual Venezuelans love what happened because they knew who Maduro was and what he's put the country through. And so Yeah. So I think
They're
that's
very
pretty
happy.
unanimous on that.
Very happy. Very, very happy, yes. And they're not even sure what's going to happen next. They're just happy he's gone.
Yep. So
So Michael Flynn reiterated essentially what you were saying, that besides going back to the Monroe Doctrine, where this is our hemisphere, if you don't stay out, we'll make you stay out. He points out one of our goals with this is to reduce the influence of Russia and China in our hemisphere, and Venezuela was one of those big partners with them because they sold their crude oil to
they,
China.
they
And
built a port for them
mhm,
so that they could dump their crude oil out. They built all this stuff so that they had to heavily influence. General Flynn is he does a really good job of the article there, and
yeah,
talks about the video and how important it is. And so yeah, that's
it's a big deal. It's bigger than I think people realize, and what people are going to realize soon, I think, is how much of a paper tiger China is. Not only do they not have a billion people, they have like 400 million, if that. They may even have less, and so they're in an economic spiral down because their population is completely collapsing. So that makes them a little bit dangerous on the global stage, because what happens when someone loses all their power? They can tend to go a bit crazy, but it also means they don't actually have that much. And so
yeah,
if we continue to cut off resources,
yeah. It'll be it's good to especially to get them out of the hemisphere. That's the big thing. Get them out of the hemisphere so that we don't do everything right in the U.S., but it's the old cliche of the U.S. is the worst country in the world, the worst place to live in the world, except everywhere else.
yep, 100%.
So
All right, so our next story is about Hud, and I don't remember who's the head of HUD anymore, whatever his name is. But here's the first article you gave me, or a second article. No, this is the language. This was later. Sorry. Give me a second here. I'll find it. Well, why don't you start talking about it and I'll find it.
so
There it is.
uh, you found it?
Cool.
Yeah. So I got to get my
Scott
glasses
Turner.
on.
That's right.
Yep. Yeah. So between 2021 and 2024, foreign born population accounted, in other words, people who are not born here accounted for 60% of the rental demand in the US. 60%. That is no wonder
Right.
newlywed couples can't find somewhere to rent at a decent price
Oh yeah.
because the government's paying for 60% of them. You and I,
Hmm.
uh, yeah, and it's just crazy.
Well, yeah. I mean, Utah was one of the weird states. Yes, our housing prices have gone up, but our rent prices are like way higher than housing costs.
Skyrocketed.
And
Yeah.
so this makes a lot of sense. And this is a lot. This is what a lot of people thought, is that foreigners, not just legal foreigners, but also illegal foreigners, are taking up a lot of the rental properties through government and subsidies, which should be completely banned. If you're here on a visa, if you're on a green card, or anything else, you don't get any government assistance. You have to actually be a U.S. citizen to get government assistance.
That's what we thought was the way, but it's been proven that that's not what's been going on.
Correct.
That almost all of them have been on government assistance. There's a few that have not, but almost all the rest have.
Yeah, and then
So,
there was another thing he pointed out here. This one,
well, yeah,
it's in line with it. He was talking about mortgages as well in regards to illegals and stuff. So not just rental, but FHA mortgages and HUD program have been used to give
yeah.
people who shouldn't be here homes.
So he says in this, in California and New York, 100% of the rental demand is driven by illegals, and it's crazy. And that we were giving also that we were given a FHA loans, mortgages to these illegals, which means we weren't requiring a down payment. We were probably paying closing costs and rolling it all into the mortgage.
Yep.
and then there are horrible risks. And so it's an insane thing that we have. So he's making a requirement to get HUD help, proof of citizenship, or legal immigration.
Yeah.
He's making a requirement.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
If you've immigrated and are now, yeah, if you're immigrated and are now a legal citizen, guess what? You can apply for things that a citizen could. Anything other than that? Absolutely not.
Yeah, you're not well. Even legal ones are not supposed to come in. The law states that you have to be self-sufficient.
Well, yeah, but applying for a mortgage, an FHA
Yeah.
mortgage, that would be fine if you're a legal citizen.
Yeah,
HUD assistant,
mortgages are fine.
assistant
Illegal.
would be
Yeah.
different, but I'm just saying, illegal shouldn't get anything, like, or just visa holders shouldn't get anything, and they are. And well, that kind of leads into our next story. We'll talk about here in a second, but all the fraud in Minnesota. We talked about the daycare fraud last time. Um, besides that going on, the complete and utter lack for law enforcement, and it's just ridiculous.
Well, and they're also uncovering other types of fraud in Minnesota as well.
Yes.
I mean, we're learning about it all the time. We're learning about the different types of fraud. Everybody will finally get that, I think. They're discovering, oh gosh, what were the other types?
Well, the SBA, PPP, EIDL loan fraud.
All sorts.
There is, besides child care fraud, there's healthcare fraud. There's pretty much any government assistance program is being defrauded.
The one thing that they just had came out, $710 million has been hand carried through the Minneapolis airport to foreign countries in cash. Okay, how do you get $710 million over a 5 or 6 year period of time? That's a lot of weight, okay, and bulk. I don't care if they're $100 bills. How do you get that much cash through an airport where anything over $10,000, they're supposed to confiscate and take unless there's special forms filled out? Well, guess who runs the airports? Who's in charge of the airports?
Yeah.
Now in Minneapolis, the Somalis, the same people doing the fraud.
Yep.
So.
Well, and that's the amount you know about.
Yes, that's the fraud that's come out.
So
yeah.
The amount that's left through the airplanes is probably double to triple that.
And in reality, we don't have a national debt. All we have is national fraud. If we were to roll back the fraud, the national debt would disappear, I suspect. And like Social Security, they just stole all the money.
Yep, and so that kind of rolls into this story about Mr. Walz. Let me find it real quick.
Well, they're now saying that he's going to resign. Now, whether that takes place or not is another issue, but he is saying some pretty insurrectionist-y things right now about ICE.
Can't find it. It's gone. Give me a second. I have to open it up real quick. Oh, you guys get to see this real quick. All right. There we go. All right. Mr. Tim Walz and Mayor Jacob Frey have been subpoenaed by a grand jury to testify, which is normally step one in getting an indictment.
Federal grand jury as well.
Yes. Why? Because how do you ship $700 million out of country without the government of that state knowing? You really don't.
Well, that's just shipping the cash out. That's not stealing the rest.
This is just. I'm just saying that's one of the obvious of.
Yes.
You definitely knew about this.
Yes, and it was coming back to you.
Oh yeah, he gets some sort of kickback about it. So that's happening. That's a good thing. The other story I wanted to make sure we covered is the ICE shooting there's been actually a couple different ones, but we're going to talk about the most popular one, which is under not popular one. I don't know if that's the right phrase, right statement. Let's see here. I don't think I have that one open either. I'm gonna have to open it up.
It's Renee Good was shot
Who
and killed.
who isn't very good.
Well, she certainly wasn't that day.
So there's a lot that's come out about this lady since, and also videos that prove everything the left was saying completely wrong. But to quickly clarify, a motor vehicle is a deadly weapon, and if you drive said motor vehicle towards, at, or near an federal officer that is that gives them the opportunity to use deadly force against you because you are actively using deadly force against them.
It doesn't even have to be an officer. If you're on the street and you drive toward just a normal dude and you're going to hit him and kill him, running him over, that dude has a right to self-defense. It doesn't matter who it is.
Correct.
Because you can run somebody over and kill them.
The thing I learned about this is, I guess public school doesn't teach about physics at all whatsoever. Because if you didn't understand physics at all, a 5,000-pound car going 3 miles an hour hitting you, it's gonna hurt you.
Well, it came out, if you look at the first video they released, and it's the one from the back of the vehicle.
Yes.
And they say that everybody was saying that he didn't get hit, but immediately after the car turned and went off, you could see him limping. He was limping.
He's just weak. He's just a weak guy, clearly.
And so it came out from the physicians that treated him that he had internal injuries in his hip and his thigh.
Yep.
From getting hit by the car. And so yes, he got internal injuries, internal bleeding, they called it. That's bruising. But still, I'm sorry, you get hit by a big, massive object in your hip and your thigh, it's going to hurt. And it's going to hurt for a couple of weeks.
In addition, because it was cold out and there was ice on the road, it actually made his injuries less because there's less friction on his feet. Because you can tell from the first video that his feet moved, which if they didn't move, then gets hurt.
Could have knocked him flat on his back, and she could have run him over.
Yeah.
But
so
it's sad what happened to the lady. She was a professional agitator that had been trained and convinced and brainwashed. A professional agitator. They need to know what they're going in and what's the possibility that's going to happen, especially if they do stupid things like this. And it's just sad.
It's very sad.
Yeah. And so anyhow, it's and then since then there was today or yesterday, last night I think it was, that actually they had another shooting by an ICE officer. He was chasing a foreign national, tackled him. The guy got up, ran into the apartment complex or house or whatever it was, and somehow, I don't remember, and then they came out, him and two others came out and started beating on the cop, and so the cop pulled his gun and shot him in the leg. Now, he shot him in the leg. This time, that's all it took. When you're getting beat on, you're not really caring about where you're getting aiming.
Well, that's the other thing, is these interactions happen in milliseconds, not several seconds. Even 2 seconds isn't much time for something to happen to you and you to react. And so to think that they could sit back and us watch the slow-mo and us tell them how they should have reacted when we weren't in this situation is just unreasonable.
Right. It's insane. I'm impressed with the first officer that pulled his gun that quick.
Oh yeah, he did. Holy crap.
If it had been me, I'd have been freaking out, putting my hands on the car, trying to push myself out of the way of the car.
Oh yeah.
But he got that gun out to stop the threat, and so I'm impressed.
So the other thing is people are annoyed that her partner might get charged, and guess what? She should be charged as an accessory. If you're unaware, if you and 3 friends go rob a bank and one of those friends stays in the car, and the two guys in the bank shoot and kill someone, the guy in the car is as liable for that death as the other two people are. That's how the
Yep.
criminal courts work, because all three of you conspired together. So
Yep.
her partner is just as liable for her partner's death as anyone else.
It's yeah, and so it's uh, she encouraged the woman too. So it's just insane. It's a horrible thing. It's horrible what Walz and Frey are allowing to happen in Minneapolis, and continuing to fan the flames by calling the ICE agents Gestapo and terrorists, and all this stuff. And it's horrific. And just it'll be interesting to see Trump today. Somebody asked him about, is he going to, what's the line for the Insurrection Act before he calls it an insurrection, and he said, I don't know, not right now, we'll see. And walked away. So it was
He's good
that's
at
what he
playing.
can do.
He's good at playing cards close to his chest when he needs to.
Yeah.
He is. So this next story kind of goes along with that one. Look who might get arrested. The Clintons.
Well, they put Steve Bannon, they put a couple of people in jail
Yes.
for contempt of Congress, Republicans.
Yep.
We need to start putting Democrats in. They started it. We might as well just finish it. We need to start putting Democrats in jail for contempt of Congress, because they called the Clintons, they subpoenaed them. The Clintons said, no, we're not. We're going to support the United States Constitution. What?
Yeah, it makes no sense. Well, and
Yeah.
the Justice Department has been bending over backwards to schedule this, apparently. Like, they've worked really hard to get a date that worked for them and was convenient for them, because they came up with all these dumb excuses for why it couldn't work. And so they came together on a date, and they didn't show up.
Yeah.
So hey,
hopefully,
Hillary, she might be behind bars for once, actually. Probably not. I give it a 30% probability. 30%.
I wouldn't even say that high.
You
They'll
don't think
flee the country. They'll flee the country before that happens.
that we just send Delta Force after them?
Yeah.
Hey, and going back on that, Trump saved the U.S. government $50 million.
It's true, because they had Biden had put a $50 million bounty on Maduro's head. Yeah.
So,
Because of the conviction in New York State.
saving money all around.
Yeah, saving money. Look at that. Saving $50 million.
So the next story is a little bit less heated. Well, it's heated for some people. It's the new food pyramid, if it'll come up. There we go. Look at that.
Yoo-hoo!
It's inverted.
Not just inverted.
Why
but
this
the
matters?
content.
Why does this matter?
Why
Tell us
does
why
this
it
matter?
Yeah. Why? Why does it matter?
A couple things. One, I think this is accurate, which is unlike the other one. The other one had whole grains and stuff at the top, wide, so that you ate many carbs, many carbs.
They weren't at the top. They were at the bottom, but the wide, it was
Yes.
a wide base.
The
So that's why
wide
it's
base. Yeah, I
inverted.
guess that's true. They just inverted. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and this is putting good proteins, which are fatty proteins with the right fat, with the right at the top. Milk's there, and including whole milk's there, and eggs. And if you look, vegetables are over on the other side, and then beneath them, as it narrows a bit, you have your fruits underneath it, and it narrows and narrows and narrows. And then you have, if you notice, it's not grains, it's whole grains, different. No ultra processed, specifically in this food pyramid, no ultra processed food.
Yeah.
And that is, I mean, all I can tell you is RFK Jr., whatever drugs, whatever supplements he's taking, I want to know, because I want to start taking them. Because, man, for 76 or something like that, he's better shape than I ever was in my 40s, probably.
Yeah, he can beat most people in a pull-up competition, and he's 70 something.
Yeah, it's just crazy. But yeah,
So, in addition to those good things that you're mentioning, the USDA guidelines are what dictate the type of food that are fed to our soldiers in our public schools, in our like government schools too, like the military schools and stuff like that. And so, what it's going to do is it's going to change the way our farmers farm because the type of products we'll be buying more of are the good type. There was also an additional law signed by Trump about milk specifically. What it does is, if you didn't know, public schools were not allowed to serve whole milk to children, which is the dumbest crap in the world. We got rid of that, and then it excludes, because part of the dietary guidelines is how much saturated fat you're allowed to have in the meals, and it excludes milk from that calculation. So not only is whole milk in school lunches now, kids can drink it and then still have the saturated fat in that meal that is allotted to them based on USDA standards.
yeah, it's a big thing. They rolled back that from the Obamas. They rolled all that crap in the school lunches from the Obamas. Um, it it's it's going to be a hard transition for a lot of people, though,
Yeah, a lot of people
myself
are
included.
freaking out about it a bit too. On They think it's not good, but
No, I'm
don't
not talking about
realize.
that. I'm
I
saying
know.
if we follow this, if we have our kids follow this, this is a tough transition because if you notice what's not on there, no sugar products, zero.
Yep.
And so it's a hard transition to go to from eating so unhealthy because we were following the guidelines to eating to do this way. And it's going to be a tough thing to do, but it, I like I said, my guess is that he's 72. RFK Jr. is 72,
Yeah.
and my guess is that's how he eats. I mean, he's shared some meals that he has, and this is exactly what he does: a lot of protein, a lot of vegetables.
Yep. Vegetables are good. You need your fiber
Yep.
and the vitamins, but the fiber is actually pretty important too. So the
Yes.
other story I have on this is this one. So if you didn't know, South Park's kind of terrible, but also they had an episode like a while ago about how the problem with obesity in the U.S. was the food pyramid was inverted, and to invert it, to flip it and fix it, and guess what? We just did.
This was like 10 years ago or 15 years ago they did this.
Yep.
And so it was there's the pyramid grains, how big on the bottom. And they knew it, everybody knew it, but the the people who were making money off of it, they were they own the politicians and still do, except Trump.
Yep.
So
That's a good thing
this is
about
a
Trump.
yeah, this is a good thing. This is an interesting thing about Trump though, too, with RFK. If you'd ask anybody 10, 5, 4 years ago if RFK would partner with Trump and help Trump not only win the election, but work in his cabinet, everybody would have said, "You're off your freaking rocker. There's no way that's going to happen."
Yes.
And yeah. So they made huge changes to the vaccine schedule as well, which we haven't talked about. Don't think, have we?
No, I don't think we have. Well, no, we talked
Yeah,
about it a little bit last time. Is
last
they
time.
dropped,
Massive changes.
they got rid of the recommendations, and so how that works with the vaccines is there was like 70 something vaccines recommended, and most states have a law that says for your kid to go to school they have to have all the recommended vaccines. And so by taking them off the recommendation list, that means the kids don't have to have them to be in school, which is a big thing.
Yep.
So, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. So our next story. What is our next story? Oh, our next reconciliation package that is being worked on. Actually, before that, we'll talk about Virginia. So there's a couple of things happening in Virginia. One of the stories I didn't pull. We'll talk about that later because they're redistricting. If you didn't know, the Democrats just took over. But this is the one that Harmeet Dealing posted about. Is they're getting sued because they will not give them their voter rolls, or they will not keep even clean them up. And so she's
Right.
sued probably like 10 states so far already. And I think she's won most of them because they're required to give the federal government a copy of the voter rolls used in federal elections.
Yeah. Hadn't sued Utah yet. She needs to.
Yeah. So this is she's doing awesome work. She's doing great in the civil rights division. Um, but in addition, like I said, Virginia just voted to pass redistricting, reducing the number of Republican House seats and giving more to the Democrats. In Indiana, the Republicans there said they didn't want to redistrict because Trump was mean.
Yeah.
I guess they like
Nobody can,
losing.
yeah, nobody can lose like Republicans. Just look at the House and the Senate right now. It's just insane.
We need to
I
clear
don't
out
know.
a terrible. We need to primary a lot of people. So if
Right.
you don't mind,
Everybody needs to go into the primary. I don't care what your political at where you sit on the political spectrum. I don't care. Get involved in the primaries because that's where your vote can count more than anything else.
it's like a 20 to
Is
1.
Yeah, it's way more in there in the primaries. And so if you want to be a candidate, be a good candidate, but at the same time, get out and vote in the primaries.
Yes, we need to get rid of these weak-willed people out of Congress
Yeah.
and get people who are willing to do actual things. So we'll see what happens, but I think primary season is going to be fun because that's coming real soon actually for the midterms, um, and that's kind of what the purpose of this reconciliation package is. Is this right? This is right. So this is a couple quick overviews here. Um, it's not finished. There's going to be a ton more things here. This is just kind of a first rough draft. So they're going to cut $1.6 trillion in spending. Um, and a lot of that has to do with eliminating any way for illegals or non-citizens to get anything from the government. Incentivizing affordable housing, that's something we didn't talk about and we don't have a link for, is Trump stating that no more institutional investors for single family homes, which is a
Correct.
huge thing. Um,
That's big.
and I don't, well, maybe I'll try to pull it up in a second, but Trump did announce his insurance thing to fix insurance.
Yep.
I like it. It's simple and I like it. So that's going to be hopefully part of this reconciliation package is fixed to health care.
He also said on a separate issue, he also said, with the tariffs coming in, the money coming in from the tariffs, there's no reason we should have an income tax.
I'll
Uh,
believe it when I see it.
Same here.
I think more than likely they're going to slowly make it so that individuals are no longer taxed. And
And that's
then,
what he was talking about, individuals.
yep. And then I think corporations are going to still be taxed at like 21%. And then that he'll have to include partnerships in that as well. We'll see what happens. So he's working at a lot of different things. These are kind of just general ideas of what's in the bill, and normally I don't try to go over the details of the bill until it's actually in the final stage of being passed. But expect another massive omnibus that's thousands of pages long, um, because currently with the margins we have, that's how you get something passed. And so the
Yeah.
goal is to have a bunch of the things that Trump wants in it. So it should be good, and it's going to be helpful for the midterms. You can tell Trump has changed his he he has a lot better plan this year than he has in the past, and he was ready January
Correct.
1 to start doing things that would make winning midterms a lot easier.
Yep.
So you're probably going to see housing prices drop this year. You're going to see interest rates come down a ton because Jerome Powell's out January something. I don't remember what his date is of his tenure, but his term is running out soon. Um, and his health care stuff. There's a lot of things he's working on. So we'll have to see. We'll keep an eye out for what's actually going to come up through with this bill here. So, all right. Last couple stories of the day. Do you want to talk about
It's May
your
15th
May 15th?
when Jerome
Oh,
Powell's
it's
term
longer
ends.
than I thought. Oh,
Yep.
yeah. Well, he's going to probably indict him and get him out that way soon. So you got your AI helmet story. Do you want to talk about that, or LLMs that are people are LLMs?
Either one, doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, that's not helpful.
Pick one and do it first.
I gotta. Let's see here. Jason, where is it? I don't think it shows all my tabs when I'm trying to pick a tab in Chrome. Well, let's pull it up. Whoa, 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 whoa. All right. All right, there you go. Tell us about this AI helmet that Joe Rogan talked about.
So Joe Rogan had this guy, Palmer Luckey, on the show. He is a startup defense contractor.
Isn't the head of Palantir?
Yes.
Okay.
And he one of the things he's invented is this helmet that he's got. He's got special glasses on and this helmet. And this helmet has sensors on it. And what everybody has is everybody's got that helmet. This glasses are actually screens that allow to display screens. And everybody's got that helmet on, all the different people working in the group. And then they have drones up as well. And the computer patches all that information together. And so even if somebody walks behind something, if a drone can see that person, or if a other person on the team can see that person, it displays the person walking behind something, and so that they can keep track of them as they go. And it's
so what you're saying is, if you thought Delta Force was frightening before, just wait.
And this guy is terrifying in a good way, because as long as he's on our side, it's not terrifying to us. He is the guy that invented the Oculus VR set.
Yeah.
Okay. And then he sold it to a couple $1 billion.
Meta.
Yeah. But he sold it to a couple $1 billion and then decided that he was going to serve America and save America money. That's literally what he said. Serve America and save America money by creating a defense contractor and building modern weapons. And so evidently this is just one piece of what he's showing now. And so obviously this isn't the latest, but it's pretty cool. And if anybody watched the Joe Rogan, it's a 3-hour typical Joe Rogan. And then there's another clip on there. There's another thing on YouTube where Mike Rowe evidently got connected with this guy, and somehow they were at a conference together and got talking to him. So Mike Rowe's doing an interview. And of course, Mike Rowe takes it a different place than Joe Rogan will, because Mike Rowe's concerned about, the younger generation coming up and learning trades and everything else. And so it was an interesting conversation. I watched that today as well. That interesting conversation where they're on the same page about trades, believe it or not. This guy's a high-tech guy. But he says we need people that can do trades, because we need people that can get in there and do manufacturing. And he said what his manufacturing basis he's created is, instead of taking, 2 hours to do a wiring harness, he said, my goal with manufacturing is to take that person that's taken forever to do wiring and speed them up.
Yeah.
And augment them, augment the line. And I'll still need people, but I need to augment them so that instead of taking that long, it doesn't take near that long to do it. So they had a good conversation as well. So he's an interesting guy to listen to, and both Rogan and Mike Rowe are as well. So for a good time to listen, if you have some time to listen, because both of them are, well, Mike Rowe's I think only a half hour, but Joe Rogan's never a half hour. No. So, yeah.
Well, that makes me think too of because it's tech related, because Palantir's fund company. Did you see that Elon Musk's lawsuit against OpenAI is going to be starting soon? Like there's an actual date. And things have already come out about they literally lied to Elon to his face. So I'm wondering what's going to happen to open AI
He's
over
going to
there.
own them.
You think so?
Yeah, it's. I think it's a fairly open and shut case because if you look at what has come out thus far, and then the other thing that's going to come out, because up to this point they haven't been allowed to do discovery,
Yes.
and they've been fighting just allowing it to go forward, and so the judge finally said go forward. So the discovery process is going to start,
Yeah,
and
Elon
that's what's going
Elon
to.
tweeted and he's quite excited about it, discovery. He's like, yes, it's gonna be fun.
Well, what's going to happen is they will settle before discovery.
I don't
They
think
will.
I don't think Elon wants
But
to settle.
Elon might, yeah, but Elon doesn't. But see, if they come and say, "We'll turn it over to you," he's like, "Okay, I won." But I'm just saying, I bet they're going to try to settle before Discovery even finishes or
I
even
agree with you.
starts.
They're going to try, unless they give Elon exactly what he wants. Um,
Yes,
Not
if
gonna
they give him
happen.
what he wants, it'll be done. But yeah, yep.
All right. So last story of the day, sort of related. Where did it go? Where did it go? It does. It doesn't show me my all my tabs. Apparently, I have too many tabs, and that's my problem. See if I move it over there, if that'll fix it. This one. So this is your other article of the day that you sent me. Go for it.
It's this is probably one of the most thought-provoking articles I've read in a long time. It talks about why people are so stupid, and it talks about using the large language model as the reason. And then he rolls into why not only people are stupid, but why the AI processing is failing is because they are large language models as well. And
Yes.
there's foundations that are missing. And like I said, it's you can tell it's not written from any specific vantage point of like a Christian or anything like that. It is just written from a tech vantage point. And he talks about how ChatGPT and Grok, they lie all the time.
Constantly.
All of the AIs lie to you. Why do they lie to you? Because they're large language models. Go look it up. It's one of the, like I said, this is one of the most in the, I don't know, a long time, most thought provoking articles I've read. So I'd recommend everyone to read this thing about how why people are stupid is literally what it comes down to, is why people are stupid.
And it has to do with not understanding that objective truth exists and having an ability to critically think. Right?
Yeah, it does. It's all I can say is it's complicated enough that I don't want to try to explain it online. Everybody should go out and read it because it is a thought provoking. Even if you don't end up not agreeing with it,
Yeah.
it's thought provoking in just how it talks about AI. Because until they overcome this issue with AI is not going to be useful. It'll be useful a lot of times, but think about it. If it lies to you 10% of the time, it's not really that useful
No.
because you can't trust it.
Yeah.
And so, you want an AI doctor that does 10% screw up,
Nope.
just this whole thing. Yeah. And so that's one
Yeah.
of the best, like I said, thought provoking process. You just have to think about it for a bit. Anyhow, articles that I've found. So,
Yeah. Well, that's all we got for today, right?
and on that note, I think that's about it, right?
Yep. So if you liked
Thanks
it,
for
like and subscribe.
Thanks everybody for joining in.
Yeah. And we'll see you in a couple weeks. And check
All
out our
right.
socials for our clips of the show.